So growing up, my dad was super involved in my life, and he was so proud of me. Like I know all parents are proud of their children, but he was over the top with it. He was just the family guy. Then he spent his whole life helping other people, and that's kind of where I got my sense of meaning and belonging from, is that I watched him help people his entire life, not for his job, just in his free time. And that's why I want to do that with the rest of my life. He grew up his whole life with a mental illness. He suffered from depression and alcoholism, and that was evident in my childhood, and that's something that I knew, but he would never talk about. He finally started going to AA again my freshman year of high school, and in one of his steps, you have to apologize to the people who you've hurt. So I remember very vividly him sitting in the car with me and holding my hand across the seat and saying, "Alicia, I love you so much, and I'm so sorry, but know that I'm getting better and that there's hope." And I looked at him and I said, "Daddy, you can do anything." I mean, because growing up, he could do anything to me. He was just this superhero in my eyes. And I truly believed that when I said it, that he could do anything. Not too many months later, he was admitted into a few mental health hospitals. So there was months where I didn't get to see my dad. And he finally got out, and we spent a few days together. On the third day, he dropped me off at work, and he stood up out of his car and got out and looked me right in the eyes and said, "Alicia, I love you to the moon and back." And I mumbled, and I was like, "Dad, I love you too. Like, don't embarrass me in front of my coworkers." But that's the last time I ever saw my dad alive. He drove away, and that's the last thing I'll ever remember from him. A couple hours later, I heard sirens passing by the pool that I worked at, and a pit dropped in my stomach, and I knew something was wrong, even before my mom told me that he had taken his life. I knew, because he had been struggling for so long. You don't really move forward for a while, kind of just stuck. It takes months or even years to get up enough courage to move on and take the next step in your grieving process, instead of just being sad and starting to live a normal life again. I didn't want to go see a counselor or talk to my mom or my brother about anything that happened. I just wanted for it to be gone and not be happening anymore. It wasn't until I got to college that I actually started coping in a healthy way, and that's when I found Active Minds and the National Alliance on Mental Illness. And I think that those two organizations saved me from a life of living in my own sorrow and feeling sorry for myself. And they really gave me an avenue to use my pain to help other people. And it's really just been an outlet for me. We work towards ending the stigma surrounding mental illness on college campuses. And as soon as you start taking that mission to heart, then it affects everyone in your life. And you create a community around you that is passionate about mental health and feels okay to talk about what they're feeling. And it's inspiring, and then it makes you want to continue doing anything that you can possibly do for mental health awareness and for the people in your life. Pretty much just starting the conversation and making sure that people know it's okay to talk about mental illness and mental health in general. I think that the conversations that we need to have are sometimes scary. Talking about how we feel seems cheesy. Talking about not wanting to be alive is scary. But it's those conversations that we need to have, because those conversations save lives. As silly as that sounds, it's not an exaggeration. Having those conversations can quite literally save someone's life. And I know that those conversations would have saved my dad's life. And those conversations did save my life. Because my freshman year, I didn't think that I would live to see my Aggie ring day. And so this just means like I fought through it, and I'm just so proud of myself that I got myself out of that, the lowest point I've ever been in my entire life. And I get this constant reminder that like, girl, you did it, you know? I'm still going to cope for my whole life, but through Active Minds and the other organizations that I'm in the community, it's more of a productive coping. I find strength in knowing that how I'm coping is actually helping other people, because it all ties back into that's what I saw my dad do for his whole entire life, and now that I'm doing it as well, I find just a drive and a passion for that, and it just feels like that's what I'm supposed to do. I don't know how to explain it. My name's Alicia Steinely, and this is my Aggie story.